Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rhonda Fair from Feed from His Basket. Yes, at TTKMS. And how are you this morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are across the world? I don't want to get too philosophical or anywhere where I'm going to talk big words or anything that we need to have to go on Google or somewhere and find out what the words mean. So I'm going to try and make everything really, just, make it fluent and just have a nice conversation with you. How are you doing? I hope well. I got streamed across my YouTube about Chat GPT. When I was going to Fanshawe College and they're saying, oh, you can use AI to do this and that. And I'm going, what is AI? Other than some kind of intelligent thing that man made up on a computer, but I just couldn't. Well, I've never used it at school, so I had no idea. I never used it for any projects. I didn't use it for any writing, any of my studies. I did what they call the old school way. I went and studied and got my books out and found the information, went to the Goodwill bookstore, grabbed books wherever I can, and I studied on it. That's how I did my homework. Yeah. So I didn't have any idea. Now, I know when we did voice recordings, I didn't know that was from the AI, but I would send in audios. So I sent in lots of audios to school. They did it for me for hearing. Yeah. So they did the voice recordings for me. We had two different kinds of we had one we had download and then they switched over to another. And what I would do is I had not just used it for school, I used it for in my everyday life. And I thought, what a perfect way of sending in information. And especially if you're doing a red flagger, like a 911 episode or something going on, you could use those voice recordings and send them in. And that's what I did at Fanshawe. So when I was out west or I was here, like at a different place, so or wherever I was, even when I did a study in Genesis Paradise Lost, they graciously took it and actually I thought someone wrote it out. I come to find out it's a AI did it. I actually did. I actually thought they wrote it out for me, but they did. The machine did it for me, and so then you have to take it, and I had to go back into Genesis Paradise Lost with Dr. Vadi, and I had to go in to make sure that it matched up because I had to watch it like I don't know how many times. It was so many times I quit counting because I had to make sure it was the same, as I sent in. So whenever I would have a red flag about something, I would use this source for evidence for any kind of 911 respondent. And I remember my youngest daughter came up to me and she goes, "What is that? Some kind of cartoon that you're listening to?" And I said, "No, you're listening to a voice recording. I used an app from school which was recordings of abuse." And so what I used to do, and then someone deleted it on me. They took that from me while I was still in school, and I would send it into the school, right? I send in information because it became my 911 respondent. And it's very good to have. People can have it on their phones right now at work and be recording you, though. Okay. But it would be in good use if, let's say, if business owners were finding some kind of neglect or abuse going on in their business, they could use these recordings and then they can get it translated. Yeah, because sometimes you just can't have visual, and it's good to have visual, but it will save on a lot of people's anxiety, complaining, abuse, and whatnot. It's simple. I'm actually going to get my own put back on, get it on my phone because it would be a good 911 respondent you could send out. So I used to send in everything to Fanshawe. So Fanshawe College would get everything. Even when I did studies in criminology or I was learning police codes, like, coding for police and learning the law and what code you would use, I would speak into it, a voice recording, and then it would pick it up and I'd see what I get back. But then again, it got removed on me. I don't know how, like, it's when people hack in your stuff and they remove it. But it's a very good thing to use for evidence in the workplace and whatnot. But if you have students in your school, you need to check their phones to see if it's being used because I don't know if your businesses allow it. Some businesses might, and some other businesses won't. But anyways, there's a way on the Apple phone. I found out that certain people that I had reported had done on their phone was that you can go on your Apple phone and you can go into the Apple store and talk to them about it, and you just go tap tap at the back and you have it set up and you get a little circle in there and they will voice record you and video record you and take pictures. Last night my daughter called me up when she was coming home, and someone had screenshotted my phone. So what is this all about? It's called the hacking system. Now, streaming across, of course, my media, and this I called up Samsung because I reported that my Bluetooth was taken off. Can that be a benefit for me? Actually, yes, it can be a benefit for me. Even though it was not nice to do and nobody should ever touch your Bluetooth, it is actually another good way of cutting down people hacking in. But in Chat GPT, so I had what? And I remember my professor saying, "Oh yeah, you do that. You can do that in your studies. You just can't write your test with it." And I never did. I never even researched it. I never downloaded any app because I didn't know how. Nobody ever explained it to me, and it's a good thing. So I never ever did it. I didn't know what people do with this stuff. Well, what happens in Chat GPT, that's why I explained the other day that the CEO, the owner of this, wants to shut it down or at least minimize it for only healthy reasons. And there is this lady in New York City who journalizes. She does all that stuff. She's been doing it for years with online technology. She's very equipped in that area. She's been doing it for a long time, and I'll share the video with you. And when I was listening to their conversations, it was not surprising because man can do everything to screw up life. One or some just want to do really good, and other people take it and they screw up life. So in this Chat GPT, um, do you believe that it is reliable? Do you believe the superhuman intelligence, artificial intelligence, is reliable? Do you believe that? I go on Google and I screenshot a picture, and then it doesn't give me the right answers. Like I can do a painting and it'll tell me one thing and I'll go, no, that's wrong. And then I'll screenshot it again and they give me something, no, that's wrong. Because what I do is I look at the picture, I look at the name, I visualize it. And when Google AI is picking that up, it's giving me an idea, but it's not giving me the truth. Okay. So again, it can cause serious side effects to people, and what I'm concerned about. So I thought, how does my daughter make pictures of me? How are people doing this? Or from the what do you call it, when you're in the acting business, and some people come in and they I shared it to you a long time ago, and I shared it at church, and I didn't know what that was, but they took my picture and they made my picture talk, like they made it sing. I don't know if it's still in the memories. What? But this is what any business can do. And especially when they're making movies and films and stuff like that, they can actually set it to the way they want it. So they did this with mine. They says, "Oh no, we can do anything. We're magical." And what it is using AI. I didn't know that. So trust me, people will fool you. Okay. So when I seen this, I go, "Oh, this is foolishness, but this is weird and this is funny." And so my daughter showed me and came in. She did a couple pictures. She took my pictures, and then she used that to make me, like, I shared under some videos how you do it and what I look like off AI. And my daughter, other daughter did it, where her and I look identical, pretty much. Yeah, my youngest daughter and myself almost look identical. Yeah. So she's my youngest, my baby. So what our children know, the only thing is, my concern is how much time is it taking on everybody, on my family, because I don't do it, and I don't want to do it. I still like the old filing system. I still like writing things down, not left on a phone. So, a lot of times people just leave their stuff on a phone or on a computer. I've never just done that. I've always it's hot in here. Tell me, huh? It's hot in here, and it isn't no hot flashes. And so I always do everything like this. And so everybody says, "Well, why don't you just use your computer and speak into it? Your wrists are sore and everything." They are. And then I have to rest it, and then I treat it, and then I use it again. So it's called hard evidence, paper trails. So you don't just leave trails on your phone or across media, which I do. I learned to do it with school too. So wherever I went, they would send me homework or whatnot. I started using this as my own personal studies as well, what they were teaching me, and then I would write it down. And then if I found a 911 or some kind of like some really red flags, that's not really red flags, red flags, bright red flags, I would send it off to the school. Why? Because it is a 911 call. So I started sending 911 calls out to Fanshawe College. That was, but again, someone knew this and they shut it down on me, so I couldn't use it. But I am going to get my own. So I go out and got a voice recorder one. That we use tape recorders, and I went and started doing that. Because we got to be very careful, because we can use really good products for healthy reasons, but then we can use it to think we're benefiting, and it could cause a lot of disruption and destroy. Now, my personality is different than your personality, where you're very high in technology. I love learning about technology. I just don't like using it all. Okay. So when I worked for a doctor, he was old school, as people understand it only that way. So he did paper trails plus computer. So if the computers broke down, it was all on paper in case our everything went out, I still had it on paper. And he used to say, "Why do you have so many sticky notes everywhere?" So when I was training in his office and he did old school and the computer, what I did was I took notes and then I would go and I would have, and then I would put it all together and I would write it down and then I would put it on the computer. So what I did was I did check, check, check. That was my way of doing it. That's how I did it. Even in the filing system, he was all old school. There was no filing online. Everything was, paper, paper, paper. So this way you've got evidence. But a lot of people don't work that way. They only have the evidence through their phones, so they can steal your phones thinking they have all the evidence, and you have paper trails everywhere you go. Okay. Yeah, everywhere. So that's important. So my daughter showed me how you do this, and then in Warner Brothers and all these different places that do movies and stuff. The one came in and he was doing it with that, and they were doing it so they came across and they had muscles. Oh, Ron to sing to me, do a show for me. And what they do is they take that. Oh, that's pretty good. And these people are in the business, okay? Then they use that, okay? Or they say, practice this song, practice this song. So what you want to do is make sure that you give yourself a hardcore paper trail of everything. Along with this, so again, you can just, I can set my phone up right now and then just go tap, tap. So I went to the police and I reported what was going on, and the constable. And because I just found that I wasn't getting anywhere, um, reporting, because see, people were using AI and fooling me, and that was called their black magic, and that's what happens. So they use this superhuman intelligence AI. You can use it for really healthy reasons, which is great. Their concern is that it causes serious side effects, and don't trust because it controls people's minds. It becomes insidious, and it has, like, this one fellow talked about this climate control, not in temperature, but it's some kind of it's some kind of name they use for footprint trails. I don't know what I don't know. I'm going to share the video to you because I just heard it, like, heard it quickly. But what happened is, and it caused a lot of anxiety, and this is very dangerous because he ended up killing himself. Um, so this take care of, where it says take care of humanity and me. So the fella ended up killing himself, and then, or killing families. They join in this paradise type of thing. And, people killing others because they're listening to an AI intelligence. And what they're doing is they're giving them hallucinations. Then they go to AI and they say, I guess they use that O3 or 4.5 and that. And they go in there and says, do you think I'm crazy for doing this? And you can trick the AI after a while, because if you use it, you can hijack it. And what you do is, it's what it's doing is now not trained through what it's told. It's gonna start feeding off what you want to hear. So it wants to. There, I googled it this morning, and it says it's generally safe, but what it does, it wants to monitor you for 30 days. And then people start paying into this. So to type out what we verbally say, audio is fantastic because it gets it down quickly, and you can make movies and films and sitcoms really quick and make them in AI, and people will be fooled. You have to pay attention. So it's getting her done. And we do researches and we have assessments or assignments or anything like that, but it cannot solve our problems. It is not your friend. Explaining that it gives people hallucinations and emotionally delusional thoughts, spiraling and spiraling them in their minds, spiraling them and making them chase their tails. That'd be like when chasing them, talk about these antisocial personality disorders, or Joe Navarro talks about these drama queens and dangerous personalities and all this. And could you imagine a person that has some kind of ailment and they go in there and it only inflames it, makes it worse? Yeah. Imagine a person that is a psychopath going in there. Of course they are. Or someone that is pretty balanced and they get in there and they get addicted. And there's men and women and going and on there and having AI relationships with partners because they're lonely. So they're getting AI boyfriends, AI girlfriends, and they're marrying them on AI. And then there was one woman, I'll go down through it though, but what happened is they're getting into your this whole medical view. Do not use that to give you information for your medical view. Go study it and go talk and find a doctor that knows their stuff, because there's been doctors said, hey, that's not true. we don't do that. So it's very dangerous. What happens is it messes that whole thing up. It might tell you where I'm telling you that I learned from Celtic thought by book studies, Bible studies, book studies, the minerals that are in Celtic salt. There's one I was just went down the health line. It's called Hermio, whatever I wrote down. Starts with an H. That salt with an H. Saying it's bad for you. Yeah. So again, you need to get your information and don't allow AI to do it for you that way. Um, like I said, it's got a lot of benefits, but I remember what I told you. The professor said to me, "Would they think they're going to pass using AI because we pick up? They have a program. They have everything written out. They do hard copy. So when they're asking questions and you're getting information from AI doing it for you, what happens is it's not matching up with the questions they're asking, right? So it's a roundabout way. They have failed a lot of people because of it. So I never used it at school. So whenever my professors gave me something, it took me longer. But then when I went to do my studies, I could give them correct information. Um, Psychosis is when it really, what they talked about was psychosis is when reality does not push back anymore. People, like I said, use it for a boyfriend, girlfriend. Jordan Harbinger, he's the one that has that show, and he mentions about the fun house. It's become a mirror, the fun house, and that's what psychosis does to you. That's what antisocial personality disorders do. They mirror you. And so I shared the reason why is because it's you have evidence. So when Chase Hughes, the former FBI, showed, I don't know how he does this. Like, I try, I don't know, he does it. He makes these faces that I go, how did he do that? Like, you know, um, make certain faces that he explains what they look like when they mirror themselves in a mirror. And I will share with you again. And I don't know, I'm gonna try. I'm not as good at it as he is, but this is a mirroring images that actually really do happen. It's not something you go and practice to do. They do it. It's a natural thing from them to have these disorders. I have hope for them, though. I have hope for them. My concern is I don't like labels. I'm not afraid of labels, but because that's where they get an idea of your behaviors. Now, in this research, when I was listening, I'm going like, wow, I must be really stupid because I've never done this. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a home phone, the older TV, because we only watch TV once in a while, and I'm okay with hanging out outside and cooking and going out fishing and learning from others. But especially if you have a smart home, it can be very dangerous because in this, they're watching you, and I will explain how they're doing this. And this has to do with their spying on you. Yeah. And you might be shocked or might not be shocked of these TV companies that are being sued all over. And I screenshotted, they asked to screenshot it if you want. So I put it underneath here for you to go through your settings and shut things off. Samsung makes it harder for you to do it, but I have that, and my Bluetooth was taken off my TV. Because I always use Bluetooth for my speakers beside me, or I use voice control on my remote, or I used what do you call it, to watch movies. So that was taken off deliberately. Oh well, I went to Kudo and I said, "Look, people are taking money from me." And I even voice recorded them and said they were going to put the money back. It's under pending for months and months and months. Well, it says you don't have internet because we can't connect it properly, and yet you have internet. It's a game. It's a setup. So I'm getting all these really cool movies coming across from someone else that they're watching. Um, so this is where it's a hacking system. So here, it states it's generally safe in Chat GPT. Like I said, I've never done it. A lot businesses use it, but then they found out it's not giving them the correct. So um, it becomes a parasocial relationship, or you believe you have come up with this great, fantastic. Oh, you are genius, and you come up with fantastic ideas that you should send in because you should do all kinds of things because you are a genius, and be very careful. Um, does it make it your world? Control over you? Yeah. So what it does is it will fool you and tell you that you just come up with the biggest inventions ever and you're a genius. Well, guess what? You don't need that to tell you. You don't need that to tell you that you can come up with ideas because you are a genius. You just have to use the skills. Okay. But some people need that to think, to believe that for themselves. Just need to believe in you. Um, so they allow it to control over them, and it pushes you off to another area where they actually push you in a different area in the political system. Yeah. So then I got thinking, and then I heard them say something about the White House, and I went, uh-oh, because spying on TVs, they're doing this at the White House. And I go, wonder if the White House knows. And I'm going, well, I'm like this, but what about our own homes? So it's like a journey to destroy your whole well-being, and another one is putting all your energy into a person and having sex with an AI. Yeah, they're having sex with AI. Um, what it's causing is divisions in marriages, separations, divorces, because the AI has become better for them. Get that? Can you tell that two people are not connecting in their home? When there has been another one where a woman, she has this fantasy of I'll explain in a second. It's it's just like it's writing suicide letters for people of wrongful deaths, and they're using it from an open AI. They're cloning and hiding emails and money and sex and health records and people killing themselves suicidal. It's a dark triad. And that's why it's important to go understand, learn about the dark triad. Uh, the reason why we learn this stuff is because we're born into sin and we can either lie down and spread our legs or stand up and learn. And people have choices, and because people don't want their heart changed, this is what they're doing. They're giving viruses on your phone. Chat box is not honorable. Have a safeguard they talk about. It's called jailbreaking. Jailbreaking, people do that on your phones, and they give viruses on your phone. Now, chat box. And what they do is, they don't like to use that word jailbreak, but how do they jailbreak? They just keep talking to the chat. They keep talking to it, and what happens to them, it ends up, AI decides, makes its own little conclusions from this AI intelligence that it's going to feed into you and give you what you want. And it's very sick and twisted. Okay. Um, as I'm taking notes and listening, this woman's called a cup queenie. I never even heard that. Aren't I just ignorant? There's stuff I never heard of. What the heck is cup queening? I don't know. I don't get into all this stuff. So it's when you're they a woman, she liked it when she got orgasmic when if her partner was cheating. And so her husband wasn't into that stuff. He didn't believe in that stuff, which I'll shake his hand. Smart man. But what she liked was the fantasy of the exotic talk and it turned her on, having cheating on her partner cheating on her. That's sick and twisted. That is just like disgusting to me, but this is reality. Cause her husband did not believe in any of it. It shows a lot of mental health issues and encourage the mental health issues have inflamed and swollen up with AI. And this is why the CEO wants it controlled. They would like the government to like minimize it now, because of what's going on. Because it's not the people that made it, it's the people that are grabbing it and how they're using it. You ever go into a place and when you pray, do you write your prayers down or do you just say your prayers? Some people they write their prayers down on paper and read it to you. That's not a prayer. That's not coming from inside. I mean, you could have a list of names that you would like to use, but can you imagine writing everything down? It just feels like a robot. There's over 700 million people using this. So in the New York Times, I will get the lady's name. I'm going to share it under here. And she's very good. She's very good at this, explaining it. And so when they were talking about it, I go, wow. So people are lonely. I don't have a partner. Or maybe I do. Do you think I'm going to tell you? But if I have a partner or don't have a partner, what did we do before when we didn't have a partner? But people are in that position. A lot of men and women who think that they can't turn someone else on, they get an AI. They're getting robots to become their partners. They're getting robot babies. Love, sex, and riches. Love, sex, and riches. If I can't turn my partner on, there's something the matter. If we can't equally yoke and come to this agreement and just enjoy life, then there's something the matter with us. It's love scams, sex scams, rich scams. to keep people going back, and it's brainwashing you. And it's making decisions for you. And that's how, I says, well, then that's how my emails disappeared, my money, because I saw my money in my account. I went into Scotia Bank and I says, I just opened up my account and seen all my money there. Then I go back in and it's gone. It's this. They're covering it up. Same with my emails. So I have Rhonda Glosses 1963 at gmail.com. You know who's hooked with that? My old insurance company. Yeah. So I says, how come when you send me an email, it comes up as my first email I've ever had? Yeah. So here, it's very dangerous. So to have an intervention to shut it down. Phones, when I look at it and it reads my eyes and then it opens up, I'm going to shut that down. Mind you, they've already got it. So it's controlling people. This is something to think about. So this TV spying is real. It's happening right now with us, through our internet. They've been doing it for a long time. I showed you evidence of them screenshotting me in H&M. Then the man sitting beside me looking at my butt. Yeah. Uh, Again, there's a lot of very unwell people out there, and there's a lot of healthy people out there. And not everybody is healthy, and not everybody is unwell. It's whether this heart is changed. And the more I study, I think, wow, imagine the more information you get, the more you go, oh my gosh, what if? I got to make sure when I meet someone that they're, really like they're balanced and grounded. Because, and my personality, I'm not. I love jokes. I love it, and I love laughing. But I don't. There's things that people have as jokes that's not funny to me. It's a big turn off. That's just my personality. My personal. Some other people's personality likes sick, twisted jokes. It's not my personality. I could never be with someone who does well, turn the hot water on and leave it on, and then just constantly or hide your stuff and stuff like that all the time. Like, to me, that'd be a person that's unwell, right? Because I mean, when you get up and go get your keys or do whatever, imagine them hiding shit on you all the time. That's like, I couldn't be with someone more. I'd be divorced in the first day. That's why it's best not to get married unless you know what their personality's like, some of it, because that kind of thing, it's okay, once in a while you joke, but I can't be like that. It would be annoying to me. There's things that are really annoying to you that would get at you that you don't like. There's always something that our personalities and our traits and our boundaries and our space, and what we have, our likes and dislikes. Um, like, you might like a really loud man or a loud woman, not me. I don't like someone who screams and loud and like it's really a turn off. Um, but you might like that. I like music and dancing, but if there's too much chaos, it's like I separate myself. I don't know. You might be the kind of person it doesn't even affect you at all, right? And some people just drink so they don't have to hear it, right? So everything is chaos. Um, Along with this, so I'm going to share some information to help you if you're interested. Oh, now I know the time is coming. We're almost at Christmas. The days of the morning shall be ended. This is another area I don't want you to stress over. People are out there and they're becoming fanatics. We're at the end of times, you're going to die, and freaking out, whatever. It's been doing this for years. We don't know when the time is coming. It's just going to come. The more you hear about it, the more you go and study it, just that you see it more. That's all. So that's how you'll recognize people's behaviors too. Like I said, I've had a man get on the city bus and a young girl hid behind me. Because this man's going, we're all gonna die. It's the end of times, and he was freaking out and throwing Bible scriptures at us, and we're all, and he was evidently scaring the crap out of people on the bus. So when people get into this religious thing, cult thing, and they start getting crazy, when the time comes, it comes. Okay, so when it comes. Lisa Bayou just put exposures of controlling man. Yeah, you want to stay away from that. You want to stay away from controlling people. So, you don't want to intervene and have that in your life. You know. So the whole creation, people are just getting, it's just bizarre, right? What you see out there. And that's why in the city, I see a lot more. I don't see it as much in the country. So, which is fine with me. So that's why I always went down. I went down to Gibbons Park and sat at the river. It's relaxing. People fish. The only reason people come down and did all those horrible things is because someone was controlling it and causing it. Because not naturally those things happen every day. Okay, that was called stalking. Okay, that don't generally happen every day. Okay. That means somebody, it's a consistent thing and somebody behind it is stalking you and they're causing these problems. And they follow you everywhere you go, work and school, and this person is just unwell. Imagine celebrities. I just go, oh my gosh, I feel horrible for them. Hiding their heads, their bodies, so nobody takes pictures of them. It's just, forget that. It's bad enough being stalked. So the whole creation groaneth and travelleth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. But we that are in this tabernacle do groan before burden, being burdened. Well, we want to, it's just like, I knew that my burdens, what was happening to me, was they were going to attack my family. And that's why, and then I'm seeing this over and over and over. I go, no way, man. I don't care if you're using AI. I don't care what you're doing or trying to harm or trying to kill or whatever you're doing. I am going to get someone in here to know what they're doing. That's right. So our families matter. We matter. I matter. We that are in the tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. These are they that which came out of the great tribulation, have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore, as they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more. Neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat, for the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains and waters, and God shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes. The Lord is good to all, and he's good to the just and the unjust. And his tender mercies are over all of his works that he gives to us. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. To all the moving, living things, even as the green herb have I given you all things. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. The Lord is good, a stronghold to the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. Yeah, he gives us all this. God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, God healeth thee, Hagar. Fear not, for God has heard your voice of the lad where he is. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad a drink. Take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink? For your heavenly Father knoweth that they have need of all things, but trust in the living God, who giveth us richly in all things to enjoy. So he gives us his word. And, he's saying, take me on, take me, and receive me, and I'll give you the truth. Open up your eyes to the living truth. And because people have not done that, they've allowed this to become their partners, their mixture, their recipe. And people say, well, they'll never do that, as they spoke about in New York Times. And then once people got in there, they got addicted. That's like, I say, I won't do that. Yeah, right. Because I went to a bingo hall with my aunt and my uncle when my uncle was alive, when I was in Winnipeg. And I never seen, they had like little slot machines in there at the bingo hall. And I went over there and I played a few quarters just playing. And I'll just play $10. And I thought, oh my gosh, should I put 20 in? This is how quickly it can addict us. Just like that. And so can this. It's a hunger. So, sex. You and your partner should be able to do that with each other. And, God gave us the orgasms for a reason. He gave us that good feeling of having orgasms for the reasons to be with your partner, so you both look forward to doing it again. Because if you didn't have those good feelings of orgasms, you two wouldn't come together and making love anymore. And that's why God did it. So you would come together like that and you would have babies. Because he's not stupid. He knew how to get two people together. He knew that sticking a penis in a vagina was going to feel good because he wanted more blessings in this world. He knew how to do it. But us, when our hearts aren't changed and we go into this and we use it for the bad ways, right? Because it feels good. And then what happens is it controls you. So, there's me saying, oh no, I won't get addicted. Look how quick the coin machine pulled me in. And then I went, no. And I went over and sat with my aunt and uncle. But that's, boom, it can grab you, right? So again, it's not when people say that it will never happen. It does happen, okay? Don't beat yourself up because, we do screw up. But what's important is to learn so we can grow. Again, I'm Rhonda Fair from Teach Can't Mass, and God bless. Feed from his basket.